What's up, party people? It is Christopher with the hopezy.life, and I wanted to make this video to explain how to become the person who lives the life you dream of. Now, I made a short video earlier that I released, but I wanted to go a little more in depth into things, as well as give some practical application, because theory is one thing, but applying it is far more valuable. So, as I mentioned in that video, the reason that many people feel stuck living a life they don't want to live is because they're looking at the life that they want without looking at who they need to become in order to live that life. Now, all of us have seen, obviously, with TV, movies, social media especially, people that have things we want. They do things during their day they want. They go places we'd love to visit. And this can make us, jealous or envious, or feel like, we got a raw shake of the dice, with the circumstances of our lives, and that life is for them, and I'm just kind of stuck living the life that I live. And we get stuck within our comforts, right? Our habits, our vices, our routines, the people we associate with, and things of this nature. And this builds a prison of sorts that will keep you living the life that you're living. Ultimately, a life that is unintentional. And if you're unintentional about how you go about life, well then, don't be surprised when you find yourself in a life that you don't want to live. Now, I'm speaking from firsthand experience. I'm about to turn 41 years old in a little over a month. And for the vast majority of my life, I was stuck with all of this faulty programming, based on, my parents and teachers and peers and coworkers and just the world in general. The way I perceived everything that was coming at me made me feel like my life was never going to be anything that I wanted it to be. I lacked agency. I didn't embrace the free will that God gave me, which He gave all of us. And so, again, in this video, I'm going to explain how I've transitioned into the man that lives the life that I've always dreamed of. Now, my life is not fully all the way to where I want it to be, because that's the beautiful thing about being a person, is we can always make things better and better and better, more and more optimized. But fundamentally, what you want to do is you want to study the minds of the people who have the life you want. Now, you will never have the exact same life as anyone else. All of us have a unique path in this life. Of course, there's similarities from sort of a fundamental level. We'll all experience the same emotions, heartbreak, grief, joy, excitement, love, etc. But how much of those we've experienced, the specificity to the experience that led to those emotions, that's obviously going to be different. We're all going to know different people. We're going to do different things. And so it's important not to try to idolize a particular person and their life, but rather to understand who they are truly as a person. What is the software running between their ears, right? Because again, your mind is the software to the hardware that is your brain. And it's your mind that allows you to move between the material, the mental, and the spiritual plane. And by being able to navigate that three-plane existence that all of us operate from is what allows you to do what you want to do. So, from a practical standpoint, the first thing you want to do is identify who it is you want to be. Now, for most of us, especially, in America, money is an issue. We've experienced tremendous inflation over the last handful of years. Prices are very expensive. Housing costs, food costs, vehicle costs, everything is expensive. And unfortunately, wages haven't gone up comparably. And so this has put many people in a very, very tight box. And naturally, what most folks do when they're facing this tight box is they operate from lack, from scarcity. And so maybe you cut down on things and you shrink your life down a little bit. The problem is by shrinking your life, you're limiting your growth. So what I want to encourage you to do, and this isn't to say that budgeting and keeping costs low isn't important. It absolutely is, until you get finances in order. But what I am saying is you have to think bigger. You have to expand your life. You have to meet new people, go to new places, take in new information in order to become who you need to be to live the life that you dream of. So for America, a good first step, and what I would encourage you to do, is grab a pen and a paper and write this down. Because by literally taking the action of writing it down, you're going to be synthesizing your senses. As you write it down, you're going to see it. And as you write it down, I encourage you to say it out loud, because then you're also not only going to be exercising your vocal cords and speaking it into existence, but you're going to be hearing it. And so this is going to integrate with your mind in a far greater way than if you simply just listen to what I'm talking about. And I'm going to give one other step towards the end to really plant this into your subconscious. Because fundamentally, it's our subconscious that has all of the programs running in the background that ultimately dictate how we go through life. Most of us are sort of on autopilot. We're not consciously and intentionally choosing how we live in each and every moment. And that's what I'm looking to remedy for you in this video. So the first thing, particularly for America, that I would recommend is you're going to come up with an income that you want to be making. Give yourself a timetable. Be specific. 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, whatever you want to do. Now, what I encourage you to make sure that you do is don't let preconceived notions, doubt, etc. get into your head as far as what is or is not possible. Hypothetically, let's say you want to make $50,000 a month, but you've never made more than $50,000 in a year. It may seem impossible to make $50,000 a month, but guess what? There are many, many, many people who not only make $50,000 a month, they make $100,000 or $1 million or $10 million a month. So it's not a matter of possibility. It's a matter of how do you become the person that can do it. So again, we're going to get a starting point. You're going to pick that time frame. Again, be specific. Then you're going to put down what that income is on a monthly basis that you're looking to make. And you're going to write this something along the lines of, start on the form at the very top. I am so happy and so grateful that in X month of X year, I am making X amount of dollars per month consistently. Okay? This is going to give us a starting point. Now what we want to do is we want to think about, in that time period, whether it's 3 months, 6 months, a year, what kind of life do you want to be living? How do you want to be spending your time? I can say for myself, what I love to do, as I've got several videos up on the channel and more will be coming over time, is I love to hike and climb mountains. I love exploring nature. And I look forward to traveling all over, not just the country, but the world, and exploring the most beautiful places on this planet and sharing those with you. I also truly, truly enjoy ministering to others and serving others, because in God's kingdom, all of us have a purpose, all of us have a group of people that we're called to serve, and it is through service to them that God provides for us. So, how do you want to spend your time? Do you want to spend your time writing the novel that's been in your head for the last decade, but you've never gotten around to it? Do you want to be making music? Do you want to be, doing some other creative pursuit? Do you want to be getting a promotion with your employer? Do you want to start your own business? Think of exactly how you want to be spending your time. Where are the places that you want to be going? What are the foods that you want to be eating? Who are the people that you want to be associated with? Get specific. Write this all down in the present tense. So for example, I spend each of my days in full autonomy doing what I'm called to do as my highest excitement. I hike, I make music, I write books, I serve and minister to those I'm called to serve and minister to. I eat delicious food at new restaurants all of the time. I'm always meeting new and fascinating people. My network is constantly growing. And keep going. Get specific. Get specific. Those are just some examples for me. Now, as you do this, I now want you to think about what type of person is able to make that income and do those things with their day. What qualities do they have? What attitude do they conduct themselves with? What emotions do they allow themselves to experience? What habits do they have? Again, be specific. Write this all down. Now what we're doing is we're framing the type of person you need to become to get that life that you dream of. Now, the next thing you want to do, and this could be a little uncomfortable, but be clear about the habits you are getting rid of. And again, use present tense as you're writing this. So as you're discussing the habits, the character, the attitude, the temperament, etc., for who you're going to become, I always do what I say I'm going to do. I always go the extra mile. I am highly disciplined. Things like this are who you want to become. Now we're talking about who you currently are. So we can figure out what that distance is and what needs to change. So maybe it's something like, I no longer beat myself up. I no longer procrastinate. I no longer waste time consuming mindless content on the internet. So now we've got a little bit of a picture. So now what I want you to do is I want you to completely forget about your goals. Because ultimately, by focusing on what you don't have, you're telling the universe that there's separation. And if there's separation, you're always chasing. And what you chase runs from you. So, what you now want to be thinking about is, how do I embody this person that I want to become so I can live that life that I dream of? And this is where this last practical technique is going to come into play, and this is self-hypnosis. Now, some of us maybe have gone to a hypnotist show, maybe you saw people, do a little chicken dance or bark like a dog or any number of silly things that go on at one of these things. But very few people truly understand how hypnosis works. All of us experience trance-like states where we're being hypnotized without even realizing it, so long as we're not consciously choosing how to live every single moment. The media, the news, movies, etc., they all induce sort of a trance-like state. And it's us accepting the narratives being told to us that ultimately get played in our subconscious minds. And it's through this trance-like state when these messages can get embedded. So one of the things that I personally have used is binaural beats in order to entrain my mind to the brain frequency that I want to operate within. Now, just a quick rundown. We've got delta, which is like the sleep state, roughly 0 to 3 hertz. Then you've got theta, which is about 4 to 7 hertz. This is a learning state. This is where acetylcholine is being produced, and your neuroplasticity is at a much higher state of being, and so you're able to take in and program that subconscious mind. Above that is your alpha wave, which is roughly 8 to 12 hertz. This is a meditative state. This is a tranquil state. This is, you can think like serotonin. Above that, we then get beta, around 13 to 35 hertz. And this is our day-to-day operating state of existence. This is sort of the caffeinated state. You can think of dopamine and adrenaline, right? This is us getting through the day, doing what we got to do, being focused, being alert, all of that type of thing is in the beta wave state. Now, the problem many people fall into is they get way too much beta waves and not enough of the other waves. And so you kind of get stuck into the material world, unable to stretch through the mental and the spiritual. Now, above beta is gamma. Somewhere, in the neighborhood north of 35 hertz, very fast, low amplitude wave. Hard to pick up on the current instrumentation that we have, but there is strong evidence that there's a correlation to IQ based on the amount of gamma waves that your brain is producing. And based on the number of gamma waves that your brain is producing, you're going to be able to get insights quicker. You're going to be more conscious, more aware, and more in control of your day-to-day, your moment-to-moment life. Now, what you can do, and leave it in the comments if you want suggestions. There's all kinds of different binaural beat apps and things like this, but what I do is I use the solfeggio frequencies, which look those up on your own. I'm not going to go into that here, but I utilize the solfeggio frequencies, and then I create a binaural beat in that theta wave range while I listen to my own self-hypnosis. So once you've got your entire sheet written out, I'm so happy and grateful that as of X date, I make X amount of money, I spend my time doing I have these habits, these emotions, these characteristics, I go to these places with these people, I eat this food, etc. I no longer do this, I no longer do that, I no longer do this. I am who God called me to be. And what you're going to do is you're going to record that. You're going to record that, saying it to yourself, again, in present tense. And then what you're going to do is you're going to listen to it while you do other tasks. Because what's going to happen is you're going to be focusing on, maybe throwing the football with a friend, or maybe you're on a hike, or maybe you're at the gym and you're working out, or whatever the case may be. Your body's going to be doing something, your mind is going to have some focus on that, and it's going to help implant this message into your subconscious. And as that script gets really implanted into your subconscious, it's going to start playing out. You will begin pulling that life towards you instead of chasing it. And what you pull towards you comes to you. So every single day, you're going to use this hypnosis on yourself. You are going to utilize our understanding of trance states, our understanding of neuroplasticity and theta waves to implant this programming. You're going to brainwash yourself because what you believe, you achieve. And the truth of the matter is, if you stay small enough long enough, you'll be big enough soon enough. And what I mean by that is, as you begin expanding your life, as your income starts going up, as your network starts expanding, as your influences start getting better, all of these things, don't rush to keep up with the Joneses. Keep your expenses tight. It's okay to live in a tiny, cheap apartment. It's okay to drive a many decades old vehicle. It's okay to buy your clothes at the thrift store. You don't need to go out to eat all the time. You don't need to order DoorDash. You don't need to spend money on these things. Focus and hypnotize yourself with who you want to be, and before you know it, you'll be living the life you dream of. So hey, I think that's probably good for here. I could go way more in depth if we wanted to, but I just want to get this video out there because I know that if I would have seen this years ago, I would have got to where I wanted to go much quicker. And so my goal in this life is to share all of the gold that I find, because I want to help you be who you want to be and live the life you want to live. Because the more of us that do this, the better this entire world gets for all of us. And I think we could all agree it would be great if the world was even better than it is. So anyway, I'm kind of rambling. I appreciate you stopping by, and we'll talk to you oh so soon. Peace.